Dear children, as you are aware that you have studied the theoretical concepts in electrostatics. Now during this session I would like to take you through the problem solving session in electrostatics. Let us go concept by concept. So at the very outset I would like to deal with the concept of quantization of charge as you have studied. So let's talk about the quantization of electric charge. In this case, we have studied that the total charge on any body is given as Q is equal to NE. Rather, I would say that Q is equal to plus or minus NE. Now, using this concept, let us try to estimate the number of basic charges, say electrons, required to make 1 Coulomb charge. The problem is, what is the number of electrons required to make 1 Coulomb charge? So, the charge on a body is interchangeably represented by letter small q or capital Q. And we say that on a body, the charge, total charge is equal to 1 Coulomb. And we want to estimate the number of the electrons required to make 1 Coulomb charge. And we also know the basic charge that is given as on an electron 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 Coulomb. Now, if a body is given electron, then the body will be negatively charged, so it will be minus 1 Coulomb. And the charge on the electron will be given as minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 Coulomb. As such, using this expression we have Q is equal to N into E. Rather, N will be equal to Q by E. Given as such, N is equal to Q is 1 or say minus 1 for me. And the value of E is minus 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 Coulomb. Rather, when we look at the units, at the numerator it will be Coulomb, at the denominator it will be Coulomb and gone. So we are trying to find the number of electrons. As such, we are going to have N is equal to 1 divided by 1.6 into 10 power 19. Or to solve it, I can also write like this. And when I work out this expression, I am going to get 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons. So as such, the total number of electrons required to make 1 Coulomb charge on a body is 6.25 into 10 power 18 electrons. And if you try to visualize this number is very, very huge. If I write the number without using these powers, I'll write 625, 2 gone, 10 power 16 I have, so 16 zeros I need to have. 1, 2, 3, and 4 times 4, 16 zeros. So these many electrons will make 1 Coulomb charge on a body. Let us move on to the next problem. Let us assume that we have a body A and another body B. And let me assume that from this body, electron is being taken to this body at a rate of 10 power 9 electrons in 1 second. Now, when 10 power 9 electrons in 1 second is taken from body A to B, the question is, what will be the time taken for this body to have a charge of 1 Coulomb? This is the case. So let us move on to the solution, or let me repeat the problem. I say that I have two bodies A and B. electrons are being removed from body A and is put on body B. The rate at which the electron is removed from body A is 10 power 9 electrons in 1 second. The problem is, we need to calculate what is the time taken for body A to have a charge of 1 coulomb. So let's move on to the solution. It says that in 1 second, the number of charges that will move is 10 power 9 electrons. These 10 power 9 electrons will make a charge of Q is equal to 10 power 9 into E. Let me assume that the time taken for the charge or for the body to have a 1 coulomb charge is equal to T second. So, in T seconds, the total charge is 1 coulomb, and this will be equal to, see, number of charges 10 power 9 into E into T second. In this case, I want to find what is T. So for me, T will be equal to 1 coulomb divided by 10 power 9 is the number of electrons per second. So this is E will be given as E. So this is coulomb per second for us into time, and this is the case. Or as such, if we move on to the solution, we are going to have T is equal to this coulomb and coulomb gone. Second will go to the top. So we have 1 divided by 10 power 9 into the value of E is given as 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. This will give me second. If we work out this time, then I am going to have T is equal to 1 divided by 1.6 into 10 power 19, and 10 power 9 gives me 10 power minus 10 second. Otherwise, I can write 1.6 into 10 power minus 10. Otherwise, T will come out as 1.6 into 10 power, this will be plus, so 9. Otherwise, T is equal to 6.25 into 10 power 9 second. So this is the time taken by the body A to assume a charge of 1 coulomb if 10 power 9 electrons are transferred in 1 second from body A to B. Let us try to visualize this time, or let us try to see what this time is in terms of years, because we have calculated in second. So I want to calculate this one in years. So if I want to calculate this in second, I'll find that T is equal to 6.25 into 10 power 9. If I divide by 60, I'm going to have minute. Further, if I do this as 6.25 into 10 power 9, 60 into 60, I'm going to get hour. And if I do so this by like this, 24 into 60 into 60, I'm going to have days. And T is equal to 6.25 into 10 power 9 divided by 365 into 24 into 60 into 60. This will give me years. And if I calculate this time, I am going to have approximately equal to, this will be equal to 198 years. Further, I can approximate this time to be roughly equal to 200 years. Now, you can imagine. See, for a body to assume 1 coulomb charge, if 10 power 9 electrons are removed in 1 second from it, to have a charge of 1 coulomb, we see that it will take 200 years. So what is the concept that we need to understand? The 1 coulomb charge is very, very huge in amount. So from this we get the concept that 1 coulomb charge is a very huge charge, is very huge charge in terms of, say, magnitude. As such, when we study through this course, whatever be the problems that we are going to come across in electrostatics, we are going to see that every problem will say that the charge is in millicoulomb or the charge is in microcoulomb. So this is the reason why the charge practically we assume in the problem to have millicoulomb and microcoulomb. Let us assume that we have two bodies. Let us say this is body A and this is body B. Body A and body B both are attracting to one another. So I say these two bodies are attracting. Let me suppose I have two more bodies B and C, and I say that these two bodies are repelling with one another. The question is, what will happen if I have body A and C held close to one another? I repeat, two bodies A and B, when held together we find that body A and B are attracting with one another. Rather, these two are all charged bodies. When body B and another body C both are held together, we see that these two bodies are repelling each other. Now question is, what will happen if I have bodies, charged bodies A and C held together? The nature of force will be attractive, repulsive, or it will not have any effect. Let us have a glance at the solution. The concept 1 or case 1, let us say. In case 1, if I see that the body A is negatively charged and body B is positively charged, in that case body B is already positively charged, and if body B is repelling C, then C is also positively charged. And in that case, see, C is positively charged, A is negatively charged, and as such the two bodies will attract one another. This is the concept. So therefore, I would say that A and C will attract. If I look at case 2, let us switch charges. These two are attracting. So let me say this time body A is positive and body B is negative. So if body B is negative, then already body B is negatively charged. Body B to repel C, C must have negative charge. Only then, in that case, if I have body A and C held together, then body A is positively charged and body C is negatively charged. And in this case too, the body A and C will attract one another. So we see that body A and C will attract. So this is the concept of the problem. Let us move on to the next problem. Let us suppose that we have three bodies A, B, C. All the three bodies are identical. All the three bodies are conductors. So let me say this is A, this is B, this is C, and all are identical and they are conductors. Also assume that this body has 3 millicoulomb charge, body B has 3 millicoulomb charge, and body C has minus 6 millicoulomb charge. At the very first instance, we are going to have body A to touch with body C. I say body A will touch body C. The next chance, what I am going to have is, I am going to take body B and body B will now touch with body C. The question is, the first question, what will be the nature of force if I have the body A and body B held together? And the second problem is, what will happen if I keep body A and body C held together? In that case, let us try to see that body A and body C are touching with one another. In this case, body A has 3 millicoulomb charge and body C has minus 6 millicoulomb charge. We will see that when A and C touches with one another, A and C, then see 3 millicoulomb plus minus 6 millicoulomb is equal to minus 3 millicoulomb, and this charge will be shared by the two bodies. As such, we will find that body A will have minus 3 by 2 millicoulomb and body C will have minus 3 by 2 millicoulomb. This is the first instance. On touching body A with C, body A will have a charge of minus 3 by 2 and body C will have a charge of minus 3 by 2. Next, I take body B and I touch this body B with body C. I know body B has 3 millicoulomb charge and body C now has a charge of minus 3 by 2 millicoulomb. And this will work out as 3 minus 3 by 2, so 6 minus 3 by 2, so this happens to be plus 3 by 2 millicoulomb charge. And when this works out to be plus 3 by 2 millicoulomb charge, this amount of charge is shared by body B and body C. As such, this body B will have half of this charge, that works out to be 3 by 4 millicoulomb plus, and this will also have plus 3 by 4 millicoulomb. Now coming back to our question, A and B are held together. This time see, A has a negative of minus 3 by 2 millicoulomb and B has a charge of plus 3 by 4 millicoulomb charge. So as such, when A and B are held together, first question, A has a minus charge and B has a plus charge, and therefore they are going to attract. So they are going to attract. And the second answer for this question, when A and C are held together, so A I am having here, C I am going to have here, and A already has a negative charge and C already has a positive charge. Here A and C too will attract with one another. This is the solution for this problem. Now let us concentrate on another concept, problems based on Coulomb's law. The very first problem that we are going to have a glance is, let us assume that we have two charges. Q1, I say that this is 2 into 10 power minus 7 coulomb, and other charge Q2 is equal to 3 into 10 power minus 7 coulomb, and both the charges are separated by a distance of 30 centimeter, and I want to calculate what is the Coulomb force experienced by any one of the charges, either say Q1 or Q2. So let us assume that this is charge Q1 and the other charge is Q2, and this is the line joining the two charges. The two charges are separated by a distance of 30 centimeter, and the Coulomb force is a central force, as you have studied. And if this is the central force, then this will be the force of repulsion experienced, let me say F. Also you have studied, you know conceptually that the force experienced by Q1 due to Q2 will be equal to the magnitude of the force experienced by charge Q2 due to Q1, and the directions of the two forces will be opposite. So to calculate the force, either I am going to calculate magnitude of F or this F, both will be equal, and as such the expression that I am going to use, this will be F is equal to, you know that Coulomb's law is given as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into the product of the two charges Q1 and Q2 divided by R square. Importantly, I would like to tell you that the question or the charges given in the question, the two charges are placed in vacuum. So as such, we know that. Now let us substitute the values to solve this problem. So F is equal to, we know the expression for this 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Precisely it is given as 8.987 into 10 power 9. Precisely the value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is given as 8.987 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. And this is approximately written as 9 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. So let us substitute this value here. Approximated value we substitute to make the calculation simpler. So 9 into 10 power 9 into Q1 is this 2 into 10 power minus 7 into Q2 is given as 3 into 10 power minus 7 divided by, distance is given in terms of centimeter. I want to write or convert this one into meter. So this happens to be 30 into 10 power minus 2 meter. And now I substitute 30 into 10 power minus 2 square of the distance. This is the case. And if I solve this problem, I'll see that F is equal to 9 into 2 into 3 divided by, I'm going to write this one as 9, 3 into 3, 9, and the powers, I'm going to have 10 power. This I have 9 minus 7 minus 7, and I'm going to have plus 2. I leave it to you to calculate. See, 30 into 10 power minus 2, I can write it as 3 into 10 power minus 1. So 3 square happens to be 9, I have placed here. 10 power minus 1 square is 10 power minus 2. If I take to the top, it will be plus 2. And F is equal to, the value goes this way, 3 into 2 is 6 into, I have minus 14 plus 2 minus 12, and a 9 minus 12 is minus 3 Newton. And this is the Coulomb force experienced by charge Q2 due to Q1, or rather you say the magnitude of the force experienced by charge Q1 due to Q2. The next problem is, I have two charges. Both the charges are placed at a distance of 1 meter. Two charges. Let me say this is charge Q1 and this is charge Q2. And the two charges are placed at a distance of 1 meter. The distance is fixed. The question is, now Q1 and Q2 both will be experiencing force. The question is, what is the minimum force that the charge Q2 will experience, or rather say, what is the minimum magnitude of force that the charge Q1 will experience due to Q2. So if we look at the expression Coulomb's law, this is F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into the product of the two charges divided by square of the distance. Distance is fixed, so it is a constant. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is also a constant. So we cannot have any other values here and here. Only the value that can manipulate the force is Q1 and Q2. So F to have the minimum value, Q1, Q2 must be minimum. So the question comes, what is the minimum value of Q1? What is the minimum value of Q2? We know the minimum possible value, we call it as a basic charge, and as such, Q1 must be equal to E and Q2 must also be equal to E. We are talking about the magnitude of the charge, and as such, F happens to be equal to, at times we write 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught as K. So I replace 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. K is also a constant. So let me say K. R is 1 meter. So 1 square is 1. Q1 is E. Q2 is E. So this is the minimum force that the charge is going to experience. Let us move on to the next problem. The next problem is, we know that Coulomb's law and Newton's law of gravitation, both are based on inverse square law of distances. Now we want to compare the strength of the forces experienced by an electron and a proton. So Coulomb force. And since electron and proton both have masses, there will be gravitational force of attraction too. So we want to compare the magnitude of the Coulomb force experienced by a proton and an electron and the gravitational force experienced by both electron and proton. In that case, let me suppose that I have an electron here, so this is E, and I have a proton, this is say P, and these two are separated by a distance of R. When I talk about Coulomb force, so electrostatic force, this works out to be K into the product of the two charges. So the magnitude of the two charge is equal to E. So I say that this is E into E divided by square of the distance. Since the nature of the force is attractive, at times we give minus sign. We are bothered about now only the magnitude of the force. And let us assume that the mass of electron is me, the mass of proton is mp, and because of these masses there will be a gravitational force, and that will be given as this is equal to capital G into the product of the masses of electron and proton divided by square of the distance. And we want to compare the two forces. We want to compare the magnitude of the two forces. So Fe divided by Fg, and this will be given as Ke square divided by R square divided by capital G into Me Mp divided by R square, and this R square and R square goes off. We are left with Ke square divided by capital G into Me into Mp. And if we substitute the values, we will find that Fe by Fg, this works out to be, the value of K is given as 9 into 10 power 9 into the value of E is given as 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 whole square divided by the value of G is given as 6.67 into 10 power minus 11 into mass of electron is given as 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 into mass of proton is given as 1.6 into 10 power minus 27 kilogram. And if we work out this problem, we get Fe into Fg. This value comes out to be 2.4 into 10 power 39. 2.4 into 10 power 39. And if we see Fe is equal to 2.4 into 10 power 39 into Fg, this tells that Fe is this much times stronger than Fg, or Fe is highly stronger than Fg, or rather say Fg is negligible. let us have another conceptual problem, that I have a proton and an electron separated by a distance of 1 angstrom. One electron and another proton separated by a distance of 1 angstrom. Now, this electron will experience a force of attraction here, and this proton will also experience a force of attraction. I want to calculate what is the force of attraction. Now, because of this force of attraction, this body will be accelerated. I want to calculate what is the acceleration on the electron, and I want to calculate what is the acceleration on the proton, and I want to compare these accelerations with acceleration due to gravity. So, as such, the force experienced will be given as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into the product of two charges, as we have studied, divided by distance square, which works out to be 9 into 10 power 9 into the product of the two charges, 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 whole square, divided by distance square, this 1 angstrom 10 power minus 10 whole square. And this force, if we calculate, works out to be 2.3 into 10 power minus 8 Newton. 2.3 into 10 power minus 8 Newton. Now, the first concept that I want to check is what is the acceleration? What is the acceleration experienced by electron? And the acceleration to calculate, I say acceleration on the electron is the force experienced divided by mass of electron. And this is equal to, the force experience is 2.3 into 10 power minus 8 divided by mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kilogram, and this acceleration works out to be 2.5 into 10 power 22 meter per second. 2.5 into 10 power 22 meter per second square. The second concept that I want to check is what is the acceleration experienced by the proton. And I see that acceleration on the proton is force divided by mass of proton, and the value happens to be, force is same, 2.3 into 10 power minus 8 divided by 1.6 or rather 67 into 10 power minus 27 kilogram and minus 27 kilogram, and this works out to be 1.4 into 10 power 19 meter per second square. Now we can see that the force experienced is, the acceleration experienced by the electron is 2.5 into 10 power 22, and the acceleration experienced by the proton is 1.4 into 10 power 19 meter per second square. However, the acceleration due to gravity, we know that the value of g is equal to 9.8 meter per second square. Now, simply you calculate or you compare the value of acceleration due to gravity with the acceleration experienced by an electron when placed at a small distance, and here you can also compare with this value. This g is extremely smaller than the acceleration of the electron, or you say g is extremely smaller than acceleration of the proton, and that's how during calculation, though gravitational force is involved, we neglect the value of g being extremely small. Dear students, I wish to thank you all. In the next session, we are going to have a look at the problems based on superposition principle and the like. We will continue. Thank you very much.